Well, Cthulhu, it's time to get into match 3 of the day. Europe min-maxing a little bit. We went the full 5 rounds in the first match, and then, well, hit and run got it done a little bit quicker here. Jumping into OPUR versus Smile. A lot of 60 TPs there for OPUR. We're seeing a decent number of, those heavy hitting high alpha tanks.
Yeah, meanwhile on the side of Smile, a very interesting occurrence of the 705s actually coming around, which is looking to be pretty interesting. And then, well, oh yeah, pardon me. Switch around.
Yeah, it was a bit of a bait and switch.
Bit of a switcheroo.
Now we got it 360 TPs on the side of Smile. So yeah, look, in the right position, those can hit like an absolute truck. Yeah,
705s will be quite problematic as well to deal with. Overall, though, I'm curious to see how Smile really performs here, sending the 60 to the hill, which means that they are trying to set up maybe some sort of an, some overlook from that up high position. Not as much control. Once again, no attempt to contest even the railroad, which seems almost weird.
It's almost the polar opposite of what we saw at a GCAT, who just really didn't utilize that hill whatsoever. So yeah,
at least some emphasis. Yeah,
yeah, that's what I was saying. It can get so claustrophobic with 7 men down the bottom. So right now, early shots going out to Doma. Going to cop a bit of punishment, but still healthy enough that he can get involved later on. But yeah, look.
That triple shotgun,
yeah,
though.
the shotgun, the triple shotgun of the 60 TPs are going to have a pretty straight beeline over towards that 2-flag position with just a single E5, it seems, to keep coverage.
Not as much of the crossfire will happen. Ozek, though, is in a lot of trouble here between Dodoma and Fluky as well, which will be problematic for the 60 TP player to go further in. No support to come through, but finally 705s are starting to rotate, but they are unaware of the presence of what I believe is a mouse.
Yeah, but there's still the 360 TPs about to make their way over towards the 2-flag while all this noise is being made through the mid portion of the map down that 7-8 line.
Though.
Yeah, so the information is there, and you got to wonder at what point does the panic set in, because you now have to pivot back. You've also got the 60 TPs coming in through the back of Banana, and this could turn into a bloodbath for OPUR if they're not careful.
Yeah, Fly needs to start rotating as quickly as possible. Dodoma is going to be the first point of contact and the first one to go for the kill, which is going to be quite the problem. Lop needs to dish out as much punishment as possible. Ozek as well to double up on this one. 600 HP going down, and all of a sudden OPUR looking like they're slightly stalling out here.
Dodoma's giving as good as he's getting right now. Ozek is still in a horrendous position, especially with the 60 TPs coming in from the back. You got lots of damage, but it's Rexa to pick up Dodoma first. Right now, OPUR in a position to flip this and get some big advantages. Smile are losing out in a big way, but they need to get those tanks in position to contest this.
Perfect frontline play really here, and the rotations of the 60 TPs as well to rendezvous with the rest of the Park team really here. Apart from that, once we did get those 2 trades coming around, the Ozek for Dodoma, this is looking a little bit more calmer, though Lop taking a little bit of a punishment. And yeah, as you highlighted as well, the 60 TP rotating around. I believe that is OP Hacker. Sebastian starting to take some damage as well, which is not particularly really great here for Smile.
Yeah, the big problem, Smile has been a lot at this point. The tide is slowly starting to turn. 5 minutes left on the clock. Yeah, the E5 has no idea that he is being hunted at the moment. 60 TP in the back. If that is OP Hacker, he might have a huge opportunity there, but he needs to start pumping that damage out. The shots just aren't connecting for Smile.
Not at all, yeah. And in comes the rotation of the double 705 and the E5 to try to push Sebastian, which is going to be a problem now that he is on a reload, so quite a fair bit of a burst to come through. Instead, it's actually the focus towards the IS-7. Ketsai about to get the better of him as well, and Sebastian all of a sudden is all alone. Actually, mine doesn't matter. It doesn't, well, said the wrong one. Bova and OP Hacker, though, they need to get rid of that E5, though.
Unfortunately, it feels like the momentum has shifted back in the favor of OPUR because they've taken down a key player in the middle of that fight. They're all now in that choke point, but they just haven't got the guns to be able to punish this OPUR roster. Vova and OP Hacker trying to isolate their one if they possibly can. Korolf is on the run. He's wasting time. This is brilliant from him. He might have stepped in at the last minute, but he's already done 3K damage in the map. 4 versus 5. Smile have tipped it once again. If they can get those team shots on, they might just salvage this.
The HP difference as well is quite rather crazy as well. No matter how you look at it, really, the 4v3 is not looking particularly too great. Tisak is the next one on the chopping block, and it's all down to Pan's Fury to try to do any sort of damage. But at this point, OP Hack is still kicking. Pan's Fury is now trying to run away from Lop and Fly, who are still fairly healthy. And Vova now, well, just about one shot HP, well, worth of missing. Will be coming around to round level 2.
Is just pumping out the damage there onto Pan's Fury. He maybe had a chance if he'd gotten the distance, run up the hill, but Yeah, look, Smile managed to salvage it. They get it back into a favourable position. They just start whittling away at the numbers. And OPUR, who did just eke out that win in the first match, looking a little bit shaky here against the Americans.
Yeah, this is definitely looking a little bit shaky, a little bit unfortunate here for OPUR. But look, it is the defense on Himmelsdorf. It can get quite shoddy sometimes is probably the best way to really describe it. As surprisingly, Pansvir is surviving this for a lot longer than we've expected. But we might take a little bit of an extra damage, but that is basically about it. That's all that could be done. And look, at this point, yeah, for OPUR, that's just need to draw time and maybe talk it out as to what exactly happened. How do we stem the bleeding?
Yeah, I'm a big fan of that. I mean, you got a little bit of time left. You're not quite going to lose your tank just yet. Use that time, waste time if you can. Just talk, chat. Look, I think Tisek is just going to farm some extra damage for the fantasy points, and you know, it's just built into every single Tanks player. You want to pad the stats, you want to pad the numbers, but realistically, a phenomenal start for this North American roster as Tisek has fallen to Vova. And I mean, coming in without your core roster that qualified and pulling out a win in the first round, that's huge. Well, Cthulhu, it's that time. Do we find out whether or not Hit and Run are the sole bastion of hope for Europe, or will OPUR join them in a victory at the moment? Smile are putting that into question. Look at that setup for Smile. Again, the triple 60 TP lineup coming through from them. The 705 investment, 3 of them for OPUR and 3 of the E5s as well.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest, I'm not too sure about that one choice of the 50B once again to be brought out by Smile. Once again, yeah, it's great to have that burst damage, but you have quite a hefty reload time on that French tank. So, look, yeah, maybe things will go a little bit differently, or otherwise, yeah, that triple 6 TP plus the 705 and the IS4 and a mouse are definitely going to be quite rather deadly. I'm looking, though, on the side of OPUR. They saw the E5s. Yeah, look great. Let's jump on that bandwagon. Triple of that, triple 705 and a 62 boot. They are looking to go extra heavy on that one.
I mean, you look at it, it's a 6-1 split. They are definitely approaching things different from Smile.
1-2 line.
Cut there. Yeah, down the bottom side of the map, so that K12 line, they're going to be looking to push up towards the 1 flag. They've got a soul tank up the left, right-hand side of the map on that O line coming in from the back. But, I mean, look, again, the Smile defense is a fairly congested one. They've got position to pivot if need be.
Problem being is that right now, Fluky will be the first person to have a lot of trouble. Though, good thing that we've managed to spot some of the presence on the railroad, so they got a little bit of a hint as to where could the problem start happening. And we are starting to see some of the rotations to now go towards the 1-3 line. The 60 is already there to cover. IS4 is now basically served as a bait, but the problem being is just how concentrated OPUR are right now.
Tisek could be in trouble. That 50B is storming towards his position right now. If Fly can get some big damage out, definitely make sure that Tisek can't have much of an impact later on in this round. They're about to go and meet up on that hill, but the rest of the team, at the moment, both teams standing off over towards that left-hand side of the map.
Fly already took some damage without any repercussions to whoever is on the hill, which is quite rather unfortunate. That's not what you want, especially with the 50B, a very feeble heavy tank as well, so certainly not the most ideal situation, but for the time being, it's a bit of a stalemate. Fluky has the ability to sort of poke around, try to get some sort of a cheeky play, but Orzik is looking to start applying pressure from his spot. Though the Doma, his position is going to be quite crucial, and that's, I think, where the E5 is going to start playing to try to force the 705 out of the position.
Yeah, just trying to deter OPUR getting that aggressive play, the positioning. Tisek right now, great position in this Overwatch. And the 50B is backed right off. Fly doesn't want to commit to the fight up on the hill.
Not at all. I mean, understandably so. Don't really want to risk any further HP, and given that the brawls will come soon. Fluky is actually copping quite a fair bit of flack right now, but thankfully for him, majority of the shots are bouncing. Though, well, just as I say, that's 623 shots, damage to come around. Rexa might be onto something, but yeah, the main problem is that, well, E5 is currently overlooking at the 705 of the Doma, but the Doma is playing the tank that can tuck in, so there is no actual theoretical damage to come through. So the main problem now being is that IS4 in the park.
Yeah, he's in such a tenuous position, and copping another shot there means that his position is basically forfeit. He's just going to play his life as best he can as he cops yet another shot. Fluky will just have to try and pump out as much damage as he possibly can. It's not a great spot to be in. You just have to play your life here.
Yeah, the Doma as well now start being forced really to move around. Cops the HE shell and then the shot from the E5 on the hill. So right now for Smile, this is not particularly favorable situation.
Oh.
3,500 damage differential right now is not great at all. Fluky as well with a damaged gun. Finally, some damage is starting to fly back towards the OPUR, but as it stands, it may be the story about too little too late, really.
4 minutes and a bit of change on top left on the clock, and Croft, yeah, the only one having taken. Homer is just getting pummeled right now. They are just throwing everything in the kitchen sink at him. Luckily, he's still alive, but the biggest problem, Smile, is not getting those shots back onto OPUR.
Sebastian is actually starting to move his position over to the hill without being spotted as well. This is perfect to get the E5 off the back of the Doma, which is going to be quite perfect to keep on providing the overwatch. T-Sac completely unaware of that ramp presence, which is going to be quite rather huge. Some attempts at the pressure from straight through the middle on the 5 line is coming around, but finally it seems like the commit to try to get rid of Fluky is coming through.
The 60 TP hunting his prey here on Hibbelsdorf. Tissac none the wiser. Cops a shot, now he knows. And this is where things could start to unravel a little bit for OPUR. They don't have the overwatch, and Smile, if they can just hold those positions. Fluky, yeah, unfortunately out of the equation. OPUR are starting to bleed that HP. More shots coming through. Smile have stopped the bleed for the moment. Now it looks like we're going to see the brawl.
It almost looks like a whole wall of OPUR starting to flood in. The Dome is in a lot of trouble. Another shot to come in. High roll will be it. No, it still gets to live. Ozek, though, will be the finisher of it all, it seems.
How is he still alive?
How's he alive is beyond me, but there is the finisher by Ketsai. All of a sudden, Vova still sitting around. Fly goes down. Yeah, look, for Smile, this is looking to be just a bit all over for the Himmelsdorf.
Yeah, unfortunately, just that early bleed coming back to bite them quite heavily. As soon as that trigger was pulled by OPUR, they get into the positions. Yeah, the contest up in the hill really hasn't achieved much for them in the 4 versus 6 now. And 2 players on. Vova's going to get one back onto Pan's Fury, but 2 players crack the 3k damage mark. OPUR is hitting their stride here in the second round. Yeah, look, round 1, bit of a hiccup, but you recover, you keep moving on. 12k HP to the 5 with 3 tanks remaining. OP Hack is down. It's just Vova and Sebastian. OPUR are going to take it. There's just no doubt, unless some miracle clutch happens.
Yeah, unless some miracle clutch happens, this is going to be very much of a 1-1 situation. Though I do have to say, Himmelsdorf was OPUR's map pick. So to see it go 1-1, well, it could be leading to a couple more problems. But overall, look, not the end of the day. Matter of fact, far from it as well. So for Smile, there's still plenty of opportunities. Matter of fact, if they get at least one more round, we can go into the tiebreaker, and from there, well, who knows what happens.
Mildly concerning, though, for Sebastian. He went for that contest. He's finally got the job done, but he was whittled down to, you know, negligible HP by the end of it. So, Cthulhu, map number 2, round 3 between Smile and OPUR, and we are reset back to 1-1. Looking at the lineups, and the shotgun's back. A 5-tank lineup for the 60 TPs plus the double E5. Yeah, double Maus, and then of course the 1 E5 and 4 60 TPs. So 9 60 TPs on the map.
Oh, look, yeah. The 60 TP supremacy seems to be the case, as Keyhand highlighted before. Look, yeah, I'd say maybe if you would have played like a tank destroyer around the sort of the E8, E9 positions, maybe that's where you could maybe find some success with a tank destroyer like a Stridsvan. But apart from that, yeah, look, maybe Prokhorovka will give us a little bit more, well, better opportunity for that. In regards to this specific matchup, I'm surprised to see that we're not seeing as much of a, you know, setup for the southern position. Very heavy emphasis on the northern side, with the double 60p almost hidden away.
Yeah, I mean, also remembering we're used to the 5v5 format.
That
You've
is
got
true.
2 extra tanks on either side, so on the attack it makes it a little bit harder to conceal your entire roster with those 2 extra tanks, but it's a double-edged sword on the likes of Tundra, because that's also 2 extra guns you're now facing down in attacking. So, look, you can see a little bit of a tentative push from OPUR through that top side over towards that 1 flag, but you can see their positioning. It's not a full commit. They still have the ability to pivot south if they need to.
Absolutely. Yeah, this very much reminds me of the ye old days of ANZPL as well, with the setups. Minus the E5 and the 60p at the K8, but everything else definitely speaks of that very similar setup. You applying some of that pressure. Tundra is by no means a quick map. Let's start off with this. This is a map where you just poke at your opponent as much as possible, and once you see that one teeny tiny crack, this is where you absolutely send it.
Yeah, much like that last round of Himmelsdorf, I think that's going to be the approach. You sort of gauge the waters, test the armor, see where the weaknesses are, and as soon as you identify it, as soon as you get an advantage, you pull that trigger, you go for the full commit, you collapse, and you start that brawl.
Interesting how the rotations of Fluky and OP Hacker starting to come around. They're hoping to not get spotted and just more so play close to Sebastian to receive some of that push. Tisak starting to get a little bit more cheeky on some of those peaks, trying to get maybe the damage into Fly.
I'm pretty sure he connected onto Lop. They were exchanging blows, and now Lop's copped the shot.
Yeah, Lop unfortunately caught a stray one. But overall, the flag number 2 seems to be a little bit more dangerous, though I say that Orzik about to be in for a very nasty surprise.
OPUR getting very audacious here. They are moving that front line up towards the one flag, and in fact, they're going to push onto it, I think.
They're not spotted.
What do you...
They're not spotted.
That's huge. There's 4 tanks here, and all of a sudden they're going to start to reveal themselves. Orzech is realizing that he might not be secure, and then Pan's Fury sends them all scurrying away.
Yeah. Now that they've revealed the plan, actually I'm pretty sure that OP Hacker didn't get spotted amongst it all, so they know about that one extra 60 TP, which now will have to fall back. The 60 TP of that is in the B5, that is...
oh my gosh.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, Lop is not particularly feeling too well now in the village, but the northern push so far seems to be a little bit more stalled now that they've revealed that extra bit of firepower up there.
Yeah, nothing like a mouse with the consistency of a light tank to defend your position. That is going to be hugely detrimental. Lop really just needs to avoid fights from this point on. He's played so much HP that if they do commit for that brawl over towards his position, he is all but going down.
Yeah, some unfortunate peaks starting to come through. Smile. I can't really justify the double mouse pick really here. Just looking at some of the positionings just feels a little bit off. One mouse, yeah, definitely feels like it, but for the position in the village, you almost would want to even bring, you know, the Madhouse special, bring in the light tank just to hide and get the early spots and then bail out.
Yeah, look, I don't know if we want his special. His special has been flipping his tank before the gunfight starts. So, yeah, maybe don't take a page out of his book. Shout out to the ANZ guys. I know they're all watching him in their watch parties at the moment. Maybe next time they can try and qualify. Because right now, they're not here.
Yeah. Instead, it's the JPL counterparts coming around. Well, so far, look, yeah, the poking business is not particularly working too well. It is the pressure onto the 2 flag, though, the double E5 to come around, trying to get some harassment done. Dodoma stuck in his position at G1, and in the meantime, this will be forcing some rotations from Smile. A 2 cap, 50 seconds remaining, and for 60s, they need to move now.
I mean, this is feeling like sheep herding at the moment. They corralled up so many of those Smile members in towards that 3-4 line position on the D mark, and now they've pushed over towards that 2 flag. They've got in position, 36 seconds, and they're going to get it done. They have the wrap. They're not moving off that 3-4 line. They need to move. They need to get in position to get the reset.
At this point, Lop will need to be the scapegoat here to just send him to just slow down the push, because Orzech is not going down as quick. 20 seconds remaining. Dodoma, you need to stop peeking out. Yes, the damage will be taken, but this is the last one of your problems, really. 13 seconds. Dodoma, this is your one and only chance to reset. Gotta aim. Yeah, there we go. Okay, reset is perfect here, but it forces the push out.
Can you justify the amount of HP that he lost there? And now OPUR are going to commit to the fight. They've already got Smile corralled into a horrendous position. The bleed has happened throughout the entirety of this round. With 2 minutes 30 on the clock, OPUR are going to commit to that brawl. Right now, Smile still have the guns in play to potentially make this happen, but your 2 heaviest tanks in the forms of the Mouse are sitting with a combined 2k HP.
Yeah, that is not good at all. Lop is nowhere to be seen either to even commit the gun to the gunfight here either. So that is your northern flank completely now borderline lost and abandoned, really. So from here on out for Smile, they need to start pushing out. They need to coordinate their fire. The focus fire is not looking particularly too pretty from them. It's all down to Fly being full HP. It's once again the same situation. Fly was full HP in the previous matches on Himmelsdorf as well, and we didn't get to really see him get amongst it too early.
The insane thing is there is still a possibility that this somehow goes Smile's way. 1:45 on the clock. If they could just keep wasting that time, get a couple of resets off, it might happen. But you can see 2 players positioned onto that flag. They're going to look to run down the clock if possible. Pan's Fury and Piotrix. There's just no one in position to reset. There's a 60 TP coming up the 1 line, but that is so telegraphed. They've got no HP to work with. OPUR have cracked this Smile defense wide open.
Yeah, bit of an unfortunate turnaround for Smile, really. OP Hacker looking to try to do any sort of damage, but the moment he steps into this crossfire, he is going to be cooked. Yep, and there it is. 24 seconds, nobody even remotely close. Orzek does fall, but at this point, it does not even matter.
Now it's just a desperate scramble. They need to get someone in position to get the reset. I mean, still, again, it's not impossible. The biggest problem, the biggest hurdle being Pan's Fury with a full bar of HP. 5 players within territory of going down. It's about to tick over. Can the reset come through? No, not to be. And OPUR will take themselves a second round. After a great start, unfortunately, 2 straight rounds for North America being crumbled, overrun by the Polish push Cthulhu. We jump into it. Smile, 60 TPs there again, double IS-7 and a super conk, whereas you look at OPUR, now hitting over the defense, 60 TPs still there, but they add a bit of heft to their roster.
Yeah, a bit of heft, a bit of mobility as well on top of it, the 277 and the IS-7 to come through for OPUR. That is basically your rotation force plus, well, extra HP to go with it. Orzek on the mouse, look, I'm going to be honest. I am personally not sold on the mouse on the as like the anchor for Tundra. Matter of fact, you know, you could introduce even just yet another 60 TP and enjoy that. Despite the fact that, yes, I understand, the bullet sponge is the mouse's role, but not on the open map like this.
Yeah, I mean, that's the problem. The bullet sponge is great in the likes of Himmelsdorf on Ghost Town, where you're meant to sit there and soak damage. But on a map which is so vast, there's so many long lines of sight, and especially we saw Tisek and the boys from OPUR just throwing shots downrange. You can't afford to be getting hit by those, so you probably want something that can test a little bit more comfortably over range.
Absolutely. Interesting to see that it's a triple lineup on the river to try to catch some of the rotations off of guard. But this is a little bit more than I've expected. Well, partially, well, apart from the IS-7 on the B4, courtesy of Tisek as well. Apart from that, yeah, this is what I would have preferred to see more. The mouse, if you're already committing them to a mouse play, use it for the front line. Instead of being the anchor, use it for the front line. You're the one that would need to soak up the damage and the aggro.
I mean, you say that we saw this group up in the last round, and as soon as the shots started coming out, they scurried away. It was almost Scooby-Doo-esque as the way they were running over each other. And right now, OP Hacker takes the first shot. Yeah, they're going to force OPUR back from their position at the moment through that 3-4 line, but it's just to get better positions to get those shots on.
To be honest, same but different, really. Smile losing such a huge amount of HP is kind of a bit of nutty, really. And then you have the Super Conk on Lop, but it feels like Smile are playing more so a defense on their offense. And once again, stacked and scurrying around, just sort of not really knowing where to peek. They force themselves into a crossfire.
It's the momentum issue. Again, if you were going to commit to something, commit to it. Don't just hedge your bets. Don't stall out, because then as soon as you stop moving, it allows your opponents to reposition. That's exactly what OPUR have done.
Again, you're already seeing quite a fair bit of bleed to start coming around from Smile. Not a single bit of damage. Finally, to Rexar, the damage comes in, but it is way too late.
You've conceded 4k HP collectively before you get your first shot on your opponent. That is absolutely horrendous. Despite a phenomenal start, it has just been all downhill since. Smile, they still have the chance to redeem themselves here. They still have the opportunity. They've still got plenty of health to work with. But that extra 4k could have been huge going into the late game brawl.
Absolutely. From here on out, look, I'm going to be honest. I'm not even too sure what next.
NA near airport. It's definitely feeling that way right now.
Yeah, look, definitely engaging in some speedrunning tactics here after that first round. I gotta say. Once again, slightly disappointing, really, to see how things so far are looking. Yes, I understand Smile is the roster that sort of been crippled because it is not the full core, but at the same time, basic mistakes.
Yeah, Tisek, he's just working his way out, looking to get a shot. And Pans just soaks that like it's nothing, shrugs it off, and just holds his line, holds his position. Fluky is floundering. Fly is doing his best to try and cover. And yeah, the shots are just not going to find their way into pinnable spots for OPUR because Smile just aren't willing to take the fights.
And here's the problem. So from here on, Mouse gets spotted. 60 and the S-Conk
look at the positioning. It's
yeah,
like sheep herding.
Yeah, exactly that. So the 2 tanks will be now distracted onto the Mouse. The rest of OPUR will rotate around to get rid of either Fluky or Fly, and that is exactly where the push is coming from. Yeah. From here on out, the last remaining 3 are the 360s, and they not going to do anything.
Well, it looks like this might have to be the start of that redemption arc for Smile. If they want to make it into that upper bracket, they're going to have to pull up in the next match, because right now they have next to no chance. Fluky's already out of the equation. Fly is not long for the world. They are just pummeling shots, and Ketzai might be in a position where he can be taken down, but it's Fly alone against the world, and he's not long for it either. Unfortunately, OPUR just tipping that scale, fully identifying that Smile had stalled out, and they are just going to collapse and crush whatever resistance is remaining.
Exactly that. Now starting to wrap around and flank. OP Hacker is the next on the chopping block, which, well, look, that position ain't gonna hold for long. Sebastian and Lop finally starting to rotate over towards the bridge, but even then, it's a little bit too little, too late. Vova, less than 1,000 HP remaining. They're trying to play for HP, the Doma trying to block as much as possible, but the wraparound is already there. It is not for long. Orzik finally falls, but my God, it took so long to get rid of that mouse.
It's in the name. You know, OPUR's tag phrase is, where is resistance? And where is it? Because unfortunately the North Americans are not bringing any shred of resistance. Yeah, they got Orzech, but that's much of a muchness when you've got 3 players remaining. One of them is one shot, the other 2 aren't much further behind. It's just down to Sebastian and Lop. They are just going to get farmed. Yeah, Lop gets his 3K, but what does that matter?
Yeah, it doesn't matter at all. Very much of a negligent damage. And yeah, look, for Smile, that is it. That's GG. That's the first loss. Unfortunately for them, they had the opportunity to keep on pushing, but yeah, I think the last 2 rounds...
Speaking of pushing, I think Sebastian might be going over the hill now. Okay, Karov's going to take it. EU shows up, and OPUR will take their second win.